distinctive hiss of a steam train recalls what the greatest generation would describe as a simpler time, but a more troubled one in many ways when Britain was in the throes of World War II. It's been more than 80 years since the Canadian Pacific and other trains like it transported soldiers and wartime supplies across England. In the days after the war, it took passengers from the southern United Kingdom to the coast, but after a restoration project got chugging here in 2011, the antique locomotive, freshly reconditioned and freshly painted, is riding the rails once again. Being here was said to be both surreal and wonderful for a 68-year-old woman named Blanche Chasty, whose mom and grandmother both worked on the train in 1941. And the head of the company that operates the vehicle says it sends a message of the past to the future about how people have to pull together in tough times. Our nonpartisan and international events coverage rolls on at the World from A to Z. I'm Carl Azus. We're happy to see you this Monday. In the Northeast African nation of Sudan, there's been a significant development in a war that started almost 2 years ago. The Sudanese army says it regained control of the presidential palace over the weekend. It had been taken over in 2023 by the Rapid Support Forces, a paramilitary group the army's been fighting for control of the country. Both the Army and the RSF have been accused of war crimes in the nation's civil conflict. Both sides deny committing them. It's not known if retaking the palace is a sign the Army is gaining the upper hand in the capital or in the war. The RSF still controls much of Western Sudan, and peace may be a ways off in what international officials call the world's worst humanitarian crisis. Next, a temporary closure at an airport might not sound like a major issue, except what happened Friday was at Europe's busiest airport, London's Heathrow. And it was brought to a standstill by a fire at an electrical substation nearby. Authorities don't think the fire was intentional, but it knocked out Heathrow's power for most of the day Friday. It does have a backup system, but the Associated Press reports it doesn't supply enough electricity to keep the whole airport operating normally. Hundreds of flights were canceled, more than 200,000 passengers were stranded. Untangling the travel knots was expected to last for days.
Pope Francis appearing in public for the first time in weeks, waving to crowds below before returning to his residence at the Vatican Sunday. Onlookers cheering as the Pope is wheeled out onto a balcony of Rome's Gemelli Hospital, where he's been staying for the past 38 days. Speaking in Italian, he thanked everyone for their support. The 88-year-old pontiff, who's been Pope since 2013, was admitted to the hospital on February 14th for a severe respiratory infection that then escalated into life-threatening pneumonia in both lungs. His medical team telling reporters Saturday that his condition is now stable, allowing him to return home. The Pope's doctors say he will need to rest for at least another 2 months and can return to work gradually. I'm Jen Sullivan reporting.
Where in the world? This is an Asian country that first became an independent monarchy in 1907. It's small and landlocked, and you'll find it between China and India. Its Bhutanese name means Land of the Thunder Dragon. This is Bhutan, a country that became a democracy in 2008.
On this date in world history. March 24th, 2008 was when Bhutanese voted on a National Assembly, a legislative chamber. The parliamentary election shifted the country from an absolute monarchy to a constitutional monarchy. Today, it's a close trading and strategic partner of neighboring India. This was the date in 1999 when forces of NATO, the North Atlantic Treaty Organization, attacked Yugoslavia. That country's government had been supporting ethnic cleansing, the forced removal of Albanian Muslims from the Yugoslav province of Kosovo. After 10 weeks of NATO bombings, Yugoslav forces withdrew from Kosovo and were replaced by NATO peacekeepers. And an infamous oil spill began on this date in 1989. A tanker named the Exxon Valdez hit a reef in Alaska, leaking more than 11 million gallons of crude oil into Prince William Sound. And because it happened in a remote place that could only be accessed by boat or helicopter, it posed a major challenge for officials to respond to it and clean it up. The effects hurt wildlife populations and the fishing industry for decades.
History isn't only in textbooks, it's all around you. At Educational Travel Adventures, we take students beyond the classroom and out into the world. Your adventure starts here.
World and out. In what part of the human body would you find the calcaneus? The hand, the nose, the ear, the foot. In humans, the calcaneus is the large tarsal bone of the heel of the foot.
A prototype of a new foot prosthetic, recently unveiled by the Italian Institute of Technology. It's called the Softfoot Pro, and it mimics the real deal.
The idea of the Softfoot Pro, born from the study of the human feet. We have a system of phalanx, bones, ligaments, and muscles that allow us to deal with every kind of environment. What we are trying to do is to replicate this, translate this principle.
This bionic foot has no motors or electrical parts, so it's waterproof and can be worn outdoors. And its flexible design makes it adaptable to different terrain, providing improved balance on uneven and slippery surfaces. Prototypes have already been tested by lower limb amputees and on quadruped and humanoid robots. Most prosthetic feet focus on stability, but they lack adaptability. The human foot is a masterpiece of engineering and a work of art. That's what Leonardo da Vinci said based on years of studying human anatomy. Each foot has 26 bones, 33 joints, and more than 100 muscles, tendons, and ligaments that wrap intricately around the foot like, well, a sock. And all of these parts work in tandem with each step, without even a thought from us, helping a person perform a range of movements, from the delicate balance needed to tiptoe to the thrust needed for sprinting, to cutting side to side. The foot's arch is a marvel in itself, strung tightly like a bow and flexible to help absorb and distribute the impact of stepping, but at the same time sturdy enough to support body weight.
This is our long stretch between President's Day and Memorial Day when vacation land sounds like a place I want to be. That's the nickname of Maine. That's where Mrs. Robeson's class is with us from Frank H. Harrison Middle School. Hello to the town of Yarmouth. In the granite state of New Hampshire, good morning to Miss Bongiorno and her class at the Academy for Science and Design. Thanks for watching from Nashua. And the stars at night are big and bright. Deep in the heart of Texas, Mr. Poole's class is at Lufkin High School, where the Panthers roam in Lufkin.
Amazing newly released video shows a most unlikely traveling duo in New Zealand, an octopus riding on the back of a shark. The University of Auckland just released video on social media of the odd encounter, which was actually captured in late 2023 when a research team was monitoring feeding frenzies off New Zealand's northeastern coast. The team spotted a strange orange mass on a mako shark's head and sent in a pair of cameras for a closer look. That's when they realized the odd blob was a coiled octopus hitching a ride on the huge predator. The university nicknamed the peculiar pairing the Sharktopus and later called it one of the strangest things their scientists had ever seen.
The U.S. government says America's egg prices have started to come down from their recent record highs, but a man in Florida has a unique way to get plenty of them, regardless of their price. He's made a living of catching iguanas in the Sunshine State, so he's taken to cutting and squeezing their eggs to extract the yolks. And after throwing in some salt, pepper, and vegetables to make them into an omelet, he says you'd never be able to tell the difference in taste. Some would say there's no way-eyed iguana reptile the tale of lapping up an iguana omelet. But all joking aside, if the taste is exactly the same and the food doesn't give you scales, maybe it'll tip the scales toward iguana elevating iguana eggs to a culinary Liz art form. I'm Carl Azers from the world from A to Z, and we hope you'll be hungry for more news tomorrow.